And he said to me, why do you smile all the time? And I thought for a minute and said, well, I guess because I know God's given me a joy which is unconditional, which isn't broken by anything in the world. I always, deep down, even if I'm unhappy, there's still an unconditional joy from God. I don't know, he didn't really react to that. He was like, okay. So I don't really know what he thought about God. Who knows what happened in those 2 weeks before I last saw him and when he died. But that's one of the really tough things. Having friends, I've got some best friends who are atheists, best friends who are agnostics, best friends who don't really want to talk about it. And I love them to bits. And, so being Christian is also quite hard because God sort of makes you love people even when you don't really want to. Parts of you are like, that person on my course, they're really annoying. And it feels like you should love them, but you're like, I do. But no, seriously, it's very difficult. And the whole evangelism thing, God says that we should do evangelism. God gives it as something to do. If we're really being loving to our friends, the reason that we do evangelism, we actually believe this stuff. We actually love them. It would be really nasty of us not to talk to them. And actually, sometimes it's really easy just to not talk to them and be like, I don't really want to talk about God because they're going to be annoyed and they're going to be like, blah, 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 this, and I'm just going to, it's just going to go back and forth. But we do these things because we claim at least to know some truth. We're not saying we're better than anyone. We're not saying that we are in some way that there's something about us which is better. We're not gooder than anyone. There's plenty of people who are much gooder than me. I'm rubbish. I separate myself from God all the time through the things I do. But so we've got this love for people and we know the truth, so we want to talk to them. But I really apologise if anyone's ever felt like Christians thrust their views on someone. It's probably only just because they're really passionate about it. They're like, I want to talk to you about this. But God grants us freedom to believe what we want. He grants us freedom to reject him or not. That's what we've had from the start of time. We've had the freedom to reject God or not. And we rejected God. Or we do reject God. I know I do. I know I have. So that's why Jesus is there to bring us back. Another thing that, this is possibly contentious, but divine providence. Sometimes, there's coincidences that happen. I'm sure you guys have all had coincidences happen to you in your lives. Sometimes good, sometimes really bad. I've certainly had lots of coincidences. When I was 15, I wrote an essay for my GCSE English language. It was like a communist famous five. It was like a group of teenagers who discover some corporate scandal and go and rage against the machine and stop it. So that was the story, but actually so that was actually only half the story, because then the story restarted itself again. And the story was exactly the same for maybe a page, and then something in the story changed. Someone made a different decision, I think. And that led to a completely different set of events. Actually led to the main character dying. And I think I recognised then, I sort of had some basic understanding of chaos and causality, and I sort of realised this world is like a ridiculously chaos, complex joke. It's so crazy, isn't it? You do one thing, the butterfly effect, one little thing that you do, or that's, just something happens, like a tree falls over. An earthquake. Can completely shake things up. So I recognised that there was this ridiculous amount of causality, that this universe was a huge chaotic system. And I said to God, right, I want you to have providence in my life. No matter if it ends up in me dying, if I have to die, that's okay, as long as providence results in you being glorified and more people coming to know you, because if they know you, then they can live forever. And I could give you loads of examples. when last year I wanted to go to Romania. I kind of felt God wanted me to go to Romania to teach children about God. You know, what they already knew. There's a lot of Christians in Romania actually, but we're going to go teach them some more stuff and help them out, teach them a bit of English as well, through Romanian Christian charities. And I really didn't have that much money. When I applied, I had some money and then I somehow hemorrhaged it in the time on fruitful living. And then I realised I didn't have enough money. I needed £380 to get there and to contribute to the charity. So I prayed on Monday with a friend, and the next day I received £100 from my church. Well, I asked them for money, so that's not much of a coincidence. On Wednesday I received £130 from the government, from Inland Revenue, because of some tax errors 3 years ago, plus some interest. And then the next day, on Thursday, I won a prize in my department for £150. Do the maths, 380. Coincidence. So I'm going to stop. I could talk forever. My experiences do influence me a lot. And sure, you know, I can just construct things in my head and just pretend, and my body can convince me through all the lovely hormones and chemicals in it that certain things are real. You know, I don't really want to die, so the things in there might sound quite appealing. But I take strong objective views about the Bible as well, and reason about it. And this subjective things form part of that reasoning. I mean, we do objectively reason, but we're doing it on top of a subjective substrate. You know, our bodies are hormones and other such crazy devices. But I would say, you know, he does work. He reveals himself to people. He reveals himself to me. He reveals himself to people who seek him. And, you know, I don't want to impinge on anyone's freedoms. But I want people to think. And it's great that you guys think. I mean, having an atheist society is fantastic for people to think more. So keep doing it. Yeah, thank you.